I thought I'll show you a flip through of my completed watercolor journal that I made myself. This is a watercolor journal that I handmade so that I can travel with it. So it's made with manila folder, and I just cut big sheets of watercolor paper to size, and then I sew it up. It's very simple. So manila folder, and for the cover I basically used some collage scrap paper, and then after that I would gesso over it and then paint with acrylic paint, and then use stencils and molding paste to add texture. And then after doing all the background, I decided to add a face to it. I love painting faces, so I added a face to it, and then I added a quote to complete it. The quote says, "If only our eyes saw souls instead of bodies, how very different our ideals of beauty would be." I thought that's interesting. Okay, so the inside of the journal. I have not decorated or painted the inside. Maybe I'll do it later. I usually leave all these things to the very end. So for this page, I was painting a mother and daughter, because at that time, I think I was trying to paint something for my daughter's birthday. So practicing sort of mother-daughter, and also it's always interesting to practice two people together to, you know, check out proportions because they need to work. And then I put like little foam letters. I used to do scrapbooking, so I've got lots of these letters lying around. This says love. This girl, I'm trying to practice the profile face here, and I don't think it's perfect, but it's a good practice. Here I use watercolor, also watercolor for the background. For the hair, I decided to use collage, so these are just cutouts from magazines, and then also cut out butterflies and added glitter on it. I love glitter. For the background, I started with watercolor, and then I think I added gesso to it, and then I added some molding paste of using stencils of bubbles. I love bubbles. You'll see bubbles throughout. I love blowing bubbles. I love bubbles in my art. They just make me happy. And here I added a quote. The quote says, "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect." This girl is my big hair girl. I love big hair girl. I love to paint hair. It's very, very relaxing. So it's made of different layers, and here I'm just playing with my favorite color, blue. So this has different layers of, I think, yellow and greens and blues. Yeah, that's her. And this I'm trying to practice the profile face, and here of male. I don't do that often. I like how he turned out, so I painted him with watercolor, and then watercolor for the background, and then I decided to add you know, paper, book pages in there, ink stamps, and also stencils of letters. And then I added, I think there's some doodles, and I added a quote that says, "Art reveals who we are and who we long to be," by Erwin McManus. This is another of my big hair girl. Again, I love painting eyes and hair, very relaxing. And here I'm trying to I decided to keep the background white, which I don't do very often. I like it. I think it really highlights the color of her hair and her eyes, so I'm glad I did that. With this page, I am trying to go back to my roots. I'm Asian, and I paint a lot of Caucasian girls. I don't know why. I guess I like to paint different eye colors and hair colors. And some people ask me about Asian girls, so I decided to paint Asian girl, and I had fun with her and her black hair. And then I decided to go crazy with her headpiece. I think at that time I was experimenting with flowers. Didn't think I can paint flowers, so I did some on the background, and then added white Posca pen outlining it, and then I added collage of different flowers that I cut out, and a butterfly for her head. The quote here says, "Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds." I usually would paint a girl, and then after that find a quote that kind of express and ties it all together. So that's what it says to me. This girl here, I saw this reference photo, I think on Pinterest, and I just really love her "so what" attitude. What are you looking at kind of attitude. So I decided to paint her. And also it's a good practice on painting hands. So I really enjoyed painting her. And so I used different colors for her eyes, for her background, trying to make bubbles from it. And then for the blouse, I decided to use, again, I think it's magazine cutout paper, and then I use gesso over it just to give it some texture. I like her. I like her a lot. This is my Frida Kahlo page. I started with her first, so I painted her, and then at that time I wasn't comfortable painting flowers, so I decided to collage with flowers for her headband, and then I used sort of texture, I think stems for the background and different colors to give it texture, just kind of an old world kind of feel. And then she has a unibrow, and I painted it in, but then I did not like how it looked. I thought it looked weird, so I tried to cover it up, but you can still see a little bit of that. After I painted her, and then I think it's like many months later, I decided to paint another version of her. In this case, I've been practicing sort of abstract flowers, so I decided to paint this with actual painting of abstract flowers here. I like how it turned out. And then also I decided to just stay true to who she is and added her unibrow here. I think I'm okay with that. So that's my Frida painting. This is my sweet flowy hair girl. Here I went crazy with her hair color, and so this is watercolor, and then here I'm practicing flowers again. So I paint the background, and then I just added the lines in. I used molding paste to add texture and create bubbles. I told you I love bubbles, so you'll see bubbles throughout. So bubbles everywhere. I think that's gesso over this, yes, and some acrylic paint here. So usually I start out with the girl, and then the hair, and then the background I just go crazy with mixed media. So that's my flowy hair girl. And this girl, I was trying to practice. I've seen people paint girls with no, with like a headband and no bangs, and I decided to try it. And after I painted her, I thought she looked kind of weird. And then I added her hair, like a weird hairdo. So she then looked really weird to me. And I decided, well, just go for it. And I added collage pieces of different things that I cut out and I collect. So hot air balloon, nest, clock, teacup, butterflies. I love butterflies. I always have some kind of butterflies. And then I have hanging heart shape dangling down. And then I added texture here as well with some leather stencils that I have. And I found a quote that says, "It is better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring," by Marilyn Monroe. So she's fun. And my last page here is my girl. I'm trying to stay loose here, so I'm trying to practice staying loose. So I painted her, and then her hair, I'm trying to not have very defined lines. And again, the bubbles. So again, texture paint here. I love how soft and loose she feels. Again, didn't decorate this. And the back of the folder is, usually I leave it to the end. After I've completed the journal, I would do the back of the cover. In this case, I just use scraps of paper that I have. And then and also things that I like. For example, I like tea a lot, so added a Twinings label here and some roses, and then painted with gesso as well as acrylic paint. And that's my back cover. So that's my watercolor journal that I made. I hope you enjoy this, and let me know if you'd like to see more, because I have a lot of journals that I use because I paint when I travel as well. Alright, thanks for watching, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks, bye.